Wonderful good day, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV on tour, and we are today in Vancouver and at the offices here at the West Georgia Street, I think it is, at Canada Zinc Metals. And with me here is the President and CEO, Peeyush Varshney. Peeyush, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you, Jochen, for coming over and talking with me.
Yeah, Canada Zinc. What is the company about? We have a map here already with your beautiful properties, and just give us an idea. We see already here zinc and lead. What are you doing?
Sure. Okay, so as you say, Canada Zinc Metals, we're based in Vancouver, British Columbia, and our focus is zinc, lead, and silver in British Columbia. So we've got an extensive claim package in northeastern British Columbia. So this pile of claims stretches 140 kilometers.
140?
It's a district scale play for sure.
Yeah.
And our focus has been on one project, the Akai project, where we've got a large resource, one of the largest undeveloped deposits in the world, in fact.
How large is the resource, actually?
It's almost 30 million tons of about 10% zinc lead.
Wow.
So it's significant. That translates into about 5 billion pounds of zinc, a billion pounds of lead, and 11 million ounces of silver. So
that's pretty large.
That's the main deposit. And then the rest of the district is very prospective claims where we're confident there's other zinc lead deposits to be discovered.
Great, fantastic. Yeah, you said, okay, you are here in British Columbia. That's, I think, a big advantage. And can you maybe say something about supply-demand situation for zinc and lead?
Sure, sure. So, more and more, as you talk to analysts, you talk to mining companies in base metals, the general consensus is zinc is the most prospective, has the strongest fundamentals over the next decade, in fact. Some of the largest zinc mines in the world are shutting down. This year, Century, owned by MMG in Australia, is due to shut down. Last year, Xstrata's Brunswick mine shut down. That was 5% of the world's zinc.
Wow.
So Lachine in Ireland, there's a bunch of very big zinc mines that are shutting down and very little new supply. So even a company like Glencore, the largest zinc miner in the world, they're forecasting a growing deficit, 2 million tons in 2016, growing to up to 5 million tons by 2020. So a growing deficit over the next 7 or 8 years. So certainly,
which would help the price, of course.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I mean, some even Scotiabank here has forecasted a zinc price of $1.75 zinc per pound. Within 2.5 years. So for a company like ours that's specifically focused on zinc, we're pretty pleased to hear those sorts of forecasts.
That's a great outlook. When we talk about outlook, what do you want to achieve this year? What will happening on the property?
Well, right now the main deposit that I've spoken of, it's still open in all directions. It's open along strike, at surface, at depth. So we think it could be much larger than the 30 million tons. And so our program right now, which is still being finalized, but we know the budget will be at least $2 million of drilling on the deposit again. And, just talking about the evidence of the quality of this project, Canada Zinc Metals has 4 major mining groups as shareholders. We've attracted Lundin Mining, Teck Resources, Korea Zinc, and Tongling Non-Ferrous Metals, a state-owned enterprise out of China. So all 4 of those groups have invested in this company.
Wow.
So
there must be a reason why.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're talking about quality here.
Yeah.
So what's happened is Teck and Korea Zinc have optioned 3 of our earlier stage claims. So they're earning into 3 of these earlier stage claims. So their budget will be $1 million next year. So at least $3 million will be spent on this project.
So but that means also that you are sharing costs and you have very strong partners from the industry, right?
For sure, yeah.
I think that's a big advantage for the company.
Big base metal miners, for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's also placing the risk on several shoulders, not only on yours.
That's right. Yeah. Right. I mean, I think what's better for a junior than having another major spending the exploration funds on some of your claims, right?
Absolutely.
So we're excited by this coming summer and the prospects for zinc. Frankly, there are other large mining groups that still approach us. They're knocking on our doors because, again, they're looking for big zinc projects. There's only a few in the world that are like this. So we've got a few other developments happening in the background right now.
Yeah, fantastic. The drills, when they are turning, of course, that's always lovely to have that. So that means you will have a good news flow also, hopefully with, again, very good results.
For sure.
Do you want to expand the resource or do you want to even upgrade?
We're planning to do both. Jochen, the drill will not only be drilling along strike to expand the resource, but there'll also be some infill drilling. I mean, right now the resource half is indicated and half is inferred. So certainly we're moving some of the indicated into measured, and we're moving some of the inferred up into indicated. So it's a bit of both.
Okay, fantastic. Of course, when you work on something, you said it already, you want to spend $2 million. What is cash in the bank? These days, a key question. And of course, through your shareholders, I think you have, let's say, easier access to cash, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, we're fortunate in that we have about $11 million in the treasury. So certainly we're well funded. And yes, with the sort of investors we have, you know, I don't think funding this project is an issue. You know, we get calls all the time from various investment bankers asking us if we're looking to raise money.
Yeah.
And you know, frankly, until our share price is higher, I don't think we'll be raising too much more money because we don't need to.
Okay, fantastic. Last question. How do you see, let's say, the development in the future? Do you want to bring this into production, or you want to joint venture it, partner it? I think with partners like you have, by now there should be a possibility to bring something like this into production.
Yeah, you know what?
What's the game plan? Let's say the big picture.
Yeah, well, so we have a team in place right now that could move this project into a development scenario. You know, one of our guys, one of our board members, he put the Red Dog mine for Teck into production. He's a mining engineer. And that's the world's highest grade zinc mine up in the world, up in Alaska. So he's on the board. You know, one of our VP exploration is very strong technically. He's worked for the BC government of mines and energy for the ministry. So he's got all the permitting skills. But the reality is, I think there's a good chance that one of these big shareholders will likely buy us out before we can get to that point.
Yeah. So it means you have an exit strategy.
We do. I mean, you know, what should be noted is Teck itself has a deposit only 20 kilometers from ours. So here you've got Teck and Korea Zinc as our neighbors with a deposit. Teck has a smelter, a zinc smelter in British Columbia.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that suggest that Teck should be very interested in this.
Super, fantastic. Peeyush, thank you very much for that. And we keep fingers crossed and look forward on good news for then from the summer on.
Thank you so much, Joachim.
Great. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, well, you heard it. That was Peeyush Varshney, the president and CEO of Canada Zinc Metals. And as you see behind me is a 140 kilometer long strike length, I would call it. And it's a really amazing property. We talk about zinc and lead, and especially zinc is going into a deficit. You heard it, Peeyush said it. The Scotiabank is predicting $1.75 in roughly 2.5 years. So it looks really amazing. It looks like that it's the right metal the guys are in, and with $11 million in the bank, well, they are pretty well funded to do a $2 million work program this year, and also for G&A and more purposes. They can really sit easily with the deep pockets, sit back and do their work and bring this to a point where maybe somebody steps in or they will be taken over. We'll see. We keep you posted. Thanks and bye-bye from Vancouver.